Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, Notre Dame fans, whenever you are tuning in to this week's show, whether you're watching live with us, watching or recording, just very appreciative over here for you guys making us a part of your day. Uh, Folks, if you're watching on YouTube, please hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to the channel for more content if you're listening via podcast. Appreciate you as well. We always like to ask if you would leave us a kind review wherever you listen to your podcast. We are live earlier than normal, Tim, for reasons that are private. Tim was, I moved it up. Tim was messing with me about why it might be, but we'll save that discussion for a different day. Tim, everything going well in the boathouse?
Yeah, everything's going good. I'm loving the comments that people are throwing out this today for the reasons why we jumped early. It's like, hey,
All right,
first
Lotus
off,
knows.
It's May, right? It's May. We could go whenever. So
it's Taco Bell's closing early, and
exactly. It's Taco Bell Wednesdays. Here we go. Let's have some fun. We're here to talk. Hey, if you're here live, thanks. If not, enjoy the rewatch. Comment. We always comment back and have fun. So, but yeah, we have some good topics tonight. Looking forward to getting going.
we do have some good topics tonight, and really looking forward to it. So we're gonna start with, and like you said, Tim, it is May. This is our lead content item here, but it is interesting. College Station is going to be the home of College Game Day on August 31st. There's some big games that night, or that day, Tim, that they could have picked from. But they went with Notre Dame and Texas A&M. So 7:30 p.m. Eastern time kick. So kind of your reaction to this, Tim, and then the 7:30 p.m. Eastern part of it being at night. Do you think that is going to play much of a role in that game?
First off, I love it because I'm busy as can be that day. So thank you for not making this a noon or 3:30 kickoff. I've had this thing pegged for a night game for 9 months, Mike. So this is awesome. But no, I'll be honest. My first reaction was thank you. The second one is it's Notre Dame. I don't give a damn what anyone says. ND matters. They know they're going to get eyeballs. This place is going to be rocking like hell in Texas. We've seen Clemson and Georgia have played a few times. They're not going to get the same TV audience of Notre Dame opening weekend, Texas, playing out there. Mike Elko's first game. Elko Freeman had a hell of a game last year with Duke and Notre Dame. So all those people that want to just poo-poo on Notre Dame all the time, dude, this thing is going to get 10 plus million people watching this game. It's going to be awesome. So I think the TV execs were smart as could be because Notre Dame matters. I don't care what anyone says out there. And we always see plenty of those articles come up. Yeah, heck, we got into one last week where a guy doesn't even rank him in his top 30 plus others to look at. So Notre Dame matters, and I'm glad I'm following the team that does. So I can't wait for that first game. It's going to be freaking awesome.
Yeah, I do think it being at 7:30 will be a little bit cooler. So I think that might help.
Yes,
the team that's up in South Bend, Indiana. So the crowd might be it'll be hectic, but it's gonna be hectic either way. And no matter what time, like prime time, might have them amped up, but maybe they'll be so drunk at 7:30 that they'll be quiet and sleep. I don't know.
But you can ask Tyler Horka as a Longhorn alum. It's A&M, so they're loud at noon. They're loud at 3. They're loud at midnight for their yell practice where they get all hooting and hollering in their overalls. Those guys, they're going to be ready, and that's fine. That's fine. Heck, Notre Dame's an underdog, so how about that? So Notre Dame could go on the road, underdog, beat an SEC team in and a new coach's first game tenure. 103 plus thousand people getting rocking and rolling, but it's gonna be an awesome game.
I want to make one other comment for folks watching on YouTube here. College Game Day, this is what they tweeted out to announce this. This graphic sucks. Like, who made this graphic? I think I could make this level graphic, and I'm not a graphic design guy. So sorry, whoever I'm throwing shade at, but this graphic sucks. Like, this account has 3 million followers. College Game Day does. And you're telling me this is the best that they can do? I don't know.
Who's the quarterback, by the way? That's not Hartman, is it? I haven't even seen this thing. I didn't even check out the graphic. Was that Leonard from practice?
Looks like pregame warm up for the blue gold game. He was dressed.
Okay. You got Wegman was out most of the spring. He's coming. 2 quarterbacks banged up, injured, coming here. But
Tim, have you
that
seen
is the official graphic? That's the official graphic.
That's the graphic. What so I'm kind of like. Have you seen our blue and gold football preview cover?
Yes.
Do you like it? I mean, you have one answer, but it looks clean, right?
Yeah, it looks clean.
What, you want Joe Alt on there? Like, what?
He should have been last year. I said that, and you guys put Hartman on there. So me personally, I would have went with the old guys.
What?
Cross, Watts,
Mills, Watts.
3 guys that should be in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. We all have them. I know.
The quarterback sells, man. We got to sell copies of this magazine. You know, I came up with high stakes. So
it is high stakes, yes, for this whole season.
So our magazine editor Steve Downey had a couple ideas. This is in our blue and gold magazine group text channel, and I was like, is there a nice way to say boom or bust? And he said no. But I kept jogging my mind, and I came up with high stakes because this is a high stakes season. It's year 3. You brought in back-to-back 1-year rental quarterbacks. Like, you better freaking make the playoffs year 3 under Marcus Freeman. And then the thing that I feel like no one else is talking about but me is the leadership at Notre Dame did not hire Marcus Freeman. Like, the current leadership now at Notre Dame, they did not hire Marcus Freeman. So it's like, dude, you gotta have a big year 3 here for your new bosses. So I love it. It's a high stakes season for the Fighting Irish.
No, I mean, I even said last week there's a Notre Dame alum who personally wrote a $75 million check. I mean, how do you write out a $75 million check? Is it just the normal one from Bank of America, Wells Fargo, wherever he banks at? Is that the same? But it's like, how nice is that check, right? Or do you write it out and mail it? But the guy's writing that to build the new Shields facility. You're right. New president, new athletic director. Athletic director was there during the whole cheers. He wants to win, no doubt about it. You cannot. I talked about this last week. The new playoff is basically, it's the BCS, the New Year's Six. It's getting in the top 12. You're going to the show. You're in the running. And for Notre Dame, it's 11-1. You're hosting. 10-2. You're on the road. That's pretty much
or
it.
out. Or out.
This year, I'm a believer. 10-2 is probably out. Just with when you're only playing the schedule they're doing, so to speak. So you lose 2 games, the committee's going to be like, okay, who'd you beat? So that's going to be the big thing down the road. But especially this year, I feel that's going to be a tough one. But going back to your Texas thing real quick, I mean, Texas is hot as could be. Indiana is hot as could be too. South Bend in August is no joke.
Yeah,
I've been there for a camp before. It is freaking hot. So, but Texas is different. Texas is a different animal, no doubt about it. But night game's going to be awesome. It'll get the guys a little rest. Mike Goolsby played there in 2001. He could talk about College Station heat, kickoff at 3 p.m. That's not fun. So that was not a fun day for the Irish that day. But it's going to be nice. And real quick, speaking of graphics, Mike, the Notre Dame graphic team, that I saw theirs. They are getting destroyed from A&M fans. They put cactuses out, tumbleweeds.
They're like, yeah, what do you think? This is El Paso?
Yeah. Like College Stations. Well, I've never been to College Station. My dad spent 5 years out there working for a large construction company. But people need to go on the official Notre Dame one.
Look at this response. We look forward to playing in South Bend next year. It's like, that is funny though.
Oh, but no, you'll get a good laugh for everyone has to go read those. But the graphics team for Notre Dame and ESPN, I guess, I don't know.
But I will say the graphics team of Blue and Gold did a great job with the cover. So I misspelled the word purchase in this comment, but I did pin it on YouTube, and it's also in the description of our YouTube channel. And I'll also be tweeting it out soon if you're listening via podcast, or you're not going to click on the link now, but I have it up on the screen. Take a screenshot or something. You could save that link there, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. Our blue and gold football preview magazine link. Let's actually go. Yeah, let's just do this. We have an offer for, if you want to, you can add the football preview to a blue and gold illustrated magazine subscription. You get a discount on the blue and gold football preview, and you can add in the 20 a month. Excuse me, 20 a month. 20 per year magazines that we do weekly during the football season, monthly in the off season. If you're a member at blueandgold.com, our premium website, you get a discount as well. But if you're not a subscriber to the magazine or our website, you can still save $5 with free shipping. You pre-order your copy. It's 160 pages, full color glossy magazine. I'm writing a couple stories in there for some recruiting content. You got in-depth analysis on each position group, player features, opponent preview. John in the comments just said that he used the magazine every game to kind of, learn about the opponents and whatnot. Final evaluation of the 2019 recruiting class, and more. So you can get it delivered. You have a couple different options there. But seriously, I mean, $18.95. I mean, come on, guys. If you're a Notre Dame junkie, you definitely need it. So yeah, please check that out. It's pinned in the YouTube comments and in the YouTube description. And you can follow me on Twitter at Mike T. Singer. I'll be tweeting it out as well if you're listening via podcast. And this doesn't mean anything to you as we are showing it. All right. Tim, we're going to, after I'm kind of done promoting our magazine, I'm going to promo Augie's Locker Room, which is the destination for unique, one-of-a-kind Notre Dame items. Please check out Augie's Locker Room at their new location at 1733 North Ironwood Drive in South Bend. It is just down the street from Notre Dame. They have a wide selection of Notre Dame Stadium pieces, jerseys, helmets, autographs, and one-of-a-kind Rockney items. Every time I read this ad, I always like to peek over and see if they have new stuff. And, of course, Augie does, as he always does. You can find exclusive Joe Montana sign items, famous sculptor Jerry McKenna's replicas of the bronze statues around the stadium, and Augie really does get new stuff in all the time. So if you haven't been in a year or so, you haven't been to the new location, please go head over to Augie's Locker Room. You can also visit the website, augieslockerroom.com, or give him a call at 574-277-6363. Visit Augie at 1733 North Ironwood Drive in South Bend and see the vintage helmet display dating back to 1890. All right, Tim, what's next to discuss today? Lists when it comes to Notre Dame football, or, after the whole being left out of the top 35 thing, which, Tim, the guy did kind of back off of it. I think that was after our show. Did you see that? It was a couple days after. He was like, in the summer, I'll be putting Notre Dame in my top 10. I'm like, Brandon, just admit you forgot about Notre Dame, dude. It is just say, he did say he screwed up, but it's still a weird thing. But anyways, Tim, on threes, Jesse Simonton is doing like a position by position top 10 units in the country. He had Notre Dame on the defensive line / edge. So just your defensive line at 7. Did you have much of a reaction to this?
No, I mean, they should be in the top 10. I think that's a no-brainer, especially with the bodies they have. I mean, they have a potential to have 3 more than likely will get drafted next year. You got, Howard Cross, Riley Mills. Heck, those guys would have been picked this year, and they're coming back. So you got basically 2 NFL guys playing up front. RJ Oben is going to be a Baptiste. He's a better pass rusher. Expect him to be a late round type of a pick, just like Baptiste was this past year. So there's 3 NFL guys. Jordan Botello, if he plays every game like it's a bowl game, is going to be an All-American because he just dominates bowl games. So who's to say they don't have 4 up there that get picked? But 3 for sure. The depth at defensive tackle is awesome. You got the obviously the 2 starters. Jason Onye's coming back, with tons more reps. Gabe Rubio, if he does come back, as it sounds like he is great. Backup player. And obviously Donovan Heinisch, man, you got 5 dudes with a lot of playing time on the interior. So it's going to be about the edges. The starters should be solid. Traore comes into his own as a pass rush guy to go with Oben on the field together. Is going to be fun to watch. So without a doubt, Notre Dame's a top 10 defensive line. And it's probably going to be the key when you start thinking strength up the middle, right? Like the old baseball term, Watts at safety, Kaiser being the veteran at Mike, and those 2 old guys sitting in the pit there in the interior for the D line. So pretty exciting. Muted, Mike.
Thank you. Here's a question for you that might be a little bit of a curveball is, would you have the offensive line in the top 10 in the country?
Oh, I wouldn't. That's just, that took me, half a millisecond to say that. Just, you're losing.
They were not in Jesse's when he did the offensive line.
I wouldn't. Just, you lost 2 NFL tackles. So, we talked about this, a couple weeks ago. Having 2 offensive linemen picked as high as they are in the same draft is a rarity in Notre Dame history. So, I wouldn't put them up there. There's still a bunch of, Baker's a 5th-year senior who's only started a couple games. That was 2021. Jagasaw started a bowl game. We didn't even know who he was on the team all last year until the Sun Bowl, right? Because the injury was backing up. Potential's there for Charles, obviously, to be an absolute stud. They showed really good flashes of it in the spring game at times. The interior, I think, is going to be stronger than people are expecting. I think Craig is a big upgrade from Zeke Correll. Billy Shrout's a better athlete than Coogan and Rocco. He's got starts under his belt going into his junior year. Rocco and Coogan, remember, they never saw the field for 2 years. At least with Billy, he's got starts under his belt going into his junior year, unlike Coogan and Rocco. So it's going to be a battle at the left guard, but you got 20 some odd starts between those guys fighting for the left guard. So the interior is good. Offensive tackle is going to have some growing pains. It's going to suck in the first game because A&M's got a couple NFL defensive ends. So growing pains in that first game. But after that, man, they're just going to get better, and they could be a top 10 Joe Moore Award semifinalist type of unit, I believe, by the end of the year.
Okay, so real quick, Jesse has done top 10s for all of offensive positions and then defensive line. I don't think he's done linebacker yet. Would there be any other position groups of again, just defensive line? Well, on offense, right? Would you have Notre Dame in the top 10 just on offense? Because I want to see that. We'll talk about that maybe next week when he fills out the rest of his list.
Tight end just because of the depth and the athleticism, and if Evans comes back, Evans did an interview during the spring or something where had he not gotten injured, he was probably going pro. So you got him coming back because he would have just kept kicking butt the rest of the season, having an All-American type of a year. So him coming back healthy, Raritan's a stud. Flanagan, depth-wise, talent-wise, that's a top 10 tight end. And I would put running backs. Once again, the depth and the talent on that.
Yeah, you're not going to put running backs in the top 10, though. You just don't
probably won't because they don't have
a national perspective. You don't know about that. So I would.
What's that?
From a national perspective,
from yards. Exactly. Because they're always going to go with yards.
I was just looking. He did put the linebackers out. Would you have Notre Dame in the top 10 linebackers? And then I'll tell you. Do you think Notre Dame is a top 10 linebacker group in the country?
My humble opinion, I would say no because of so many new guys.
So he has Notre Dame at 9 in the linebackers, which I think is pretty favorable. Solid. And then tight end 6.
Tight ends. Okay.
I don't think he had Notre Dame in the receiver rankings. Let me just pull it all. I'm just pulling it all up. He didn't in running backs. I would be surprised if he did.
Running backs obviously were biased.
Receiver,
being a Notre Dame fan,
not at receiver. Then quarterback, Notre Dame 6.
Quarterback.
So which 6? If you're a Notre Dame fan, you hear the Irish have the 6th best quarterback room in the country. Be like, I'll take that, right?
Take it.
It is a deep room. It really is.
Take it. Yeah.
I agree with Sloppy Joe here. Says
So,
Tim Hyde equals aging goals.
yeah.
Tim's
Thank
got
you. It's my
Tim's what,
dad, man. It's my
6,
dad.
7 years older than me, and he looks that much better. I mean, you would think he only looks 6, 7 years older than me. He probably could be my dad, and
Many
I would
more.
have been amazing if he would have been my dad. But
Yeah, many more.
um,
But linebackers 9. Wow, I got
Tim does not want to address that at all. He's like, let's talk balls, talk linebackers.
But number 9, I'm gonna have to read that. Is that one out yet? Has he posted those?
Yeah,
Okay, I'm gonna have to look at that. 9,
yeah,
it's Kaiser. I mean, Kaiser with the they always talk
yeah.
about the PFF grades and things of that nature. Once again, some talent, man. KVA is my guy who's gonna find his way into a starting lineup sometime this season. So Jalen Sneed, man, he's so freaking talented. I was rewatching the USC film, which the other day, and he popped out there a few times. So athletically, yeah, I would say, yeah, it's probably in there.
Yeah, I
Production
mean,
wise is a question mark, but talent, recruiting, what Freeman's done since he's been there. I mean, look at all those dudes, man.
yeah,
Good group. It's a good group of athletes.
yeah. Just kind of quick housekeeping notes. No recruiting show Friday. I'm taking off Friday, and going to Nashville with my wife and my in-laws. So just a little double date weekend. I got pretty cool in-laws, so I'm looking forward to that. Tim, going to hopefully cross the fingers break some nice Notre Dame recruiting news in a few days.
Okay.
I can explain it. Well, if it will come out by the time we talk next week, so we will definitely cover that next week's show. So I kind of want to throw that little tease out there for folks watching. And I think there was one other thing, but I don't remember. If I think of it, I'll cover it. But maybe it's just to have folks hit the thumbs up on this YouTube video if you are watching us live or watching us back. Mike Singer and Tim Hyde a little bit earlier than usual. But yeah, if you're watching back, listening via podcast, doesn't really matter to you. But we just appreciate you making us a part of your day. Moving along, Tim. This was pretty interesting. So this is according to the Action Network, and Brett McMurphy's a very well-known college football reporter. I believe he does work for them. And the Action Network put out their over/under win totals. And this is obviously subject to change, but there are 5 teams over 10. And Notre Dame, who's not a top 35 team in the country, by the way, according to Brandon Marcello over at 24/7, is one of those teams. And Tim, when we looked, was it last week we looked at Joel Klatt's ranking? Do you remember that?
Yes.
And it was like Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon, Texas were like the consensus.
Yes.
Right? The top 4, like everyone thinks it's those. How about Notre Dame being in that group? Now, that might be due to Notre Dame's schedule, but still 10.5 seems like a big number to go over on, because you're saying Notre Dame's going to go 11-1 or undefeated in the regular, and this is regular season over, so it doesn't count a bowl game or you go to the playoffs and you get 3 more to hit 11. No, that's not how it works. This is regular season. You get 12 games. So that seems like a high number. What do you think, Tim?
This is why I don't bet. This is why I enjoy the games. Yeah, I can imagine putting a bunch of money on that. That's Mike, because the last couple of years have been like 8.5, correct? I think we've talked about this in the last few years.
So.
I want to say 8.5. So you're looking at Freeman's first year was 8.5 and they went under it. So last year was 8.5. They hit the 9 mark in the regular season. So yeah, you're saying 10.5. So you're basically saying you're going 11-1. You're going to lose 1 game and that's it. So that's a pretty high bar.
It is
hard, because I know I don't know if I've mentioned this. Just going back over the years post Holtz, it's been 30 years. Notre Dame's only finished 5 seasons, Mike, without 3 losses. That's a lot of 3-loss seasons. 25 out of the last 30 seasons have ended with 3 or more losses. So
Wait.
they're saying 3 or more losses. I'm counting the bowl
25
game.
of the last 30? You looked that up?
Yeah. Yeah, because for some reason, this was probably a couple of weeks ago, a month ago, something was in my brain. I started looking at seasons, and I was like, "Oh my god!" How many 11-1? You know what I mean? 10-2 finish, or 11-2, which was 2019. But every year, Mike, since the 1993, they're national champs. Every Notre Dame fan who's been around like me, we're claiming it. So you go 1994, 5 losses, 95, 3, 96. Holtz's last year, 3. The Davey years, the Willingham years, every single one had 3 or more losses. Then you go to Charlie Weiss. Even the great first 2 years with Charlie Weiss in 05, 06, 9-3, 10-3, 3 losses. Yeah, it's not till Brian Kelly, 2012. All 5 seasons. The guys won't like this, are all with Brian Kelly, but it's fascinating to end the season. So the 10.5 is a huge number. Is it doable? Heck yeah, it is. This roster as strong as can be. They got experience at a lot of key places. Win that first game, Mike. They're going to be undefeated hosting Florida State, probably in a top 5 matchup, which is just going to be electric in South Bend, as long as Florida State beats Clemson. But Florida, I can't tell you how many times a week I think of Florida State, Notre Dame, undefeated at night, South Bend in November. So it's gonna get there. But 10.5's a lot when you look at the post Lou Holtz years.
25 of 30.
Yes,
that is kind of one of the most shocking stats
it's nuts.
I've ever heard.
And that's those were obviously, even Holtz had horrible 94 team, and his 95, his last 2 teams were really good, but they still ended with 3 losses.
Jeez.
Yeah. So think of that when you start thinking of the 10.5. How big that would be for Marcus Freeman, Mike. It is massive to be able to do that as a rookie coach at Notre Dame. Those are hard to come by. He would be in rarefied air if he finishes 11-1. Let's just say 11-1, 12-0.
Yeah.
Rarefied. It's been since Newt Rockne that's happened for a rookie coach. So, okay.
Chip, do you like Notre Dame with 10 wins or 11 wins? What do you think?
I hate this.
Are you saying something? Are you whispering?
Yeah, I'm whispering to myself.
What are you saying?
They can't, Mike. They can't. They can't go 10-2. They can't. They can, obviously. 9-3. Mike, can you? I don't even want to imagine 9-3. I do not want to.
Dude, if they go 9-3, I think the fans will be done. Like, they'll turned.
No, there'll be parts of South Bend that are just burned to the ground, and it's like, all right, start rebuilding right here. So, it will be bad. So I don't even want to think about it. I'm trying to stay positive. 11-1, get in the damn playoffs, and kick off a hell of a run moving forward.
Yeah, Texas A&M's going to be tough. Northern Illinois should be easy, but Marshall was supposed to be easy. Toledo was supposed to be easy. Ball State was supposed to be easy. Purdue should be fine on the road. Miami, Ohio should be a win. Louisville. Dude, Louisville has played Notre Dame tough.
Right.
Obviously, last year, 2020, I believe Notre Dame, eked out a 13-6 win or something. 2019 on the road at Louisville was still a pretty tough game. Stanford at Notre Dame Stadium. Hell, they just beat Notre Dame 2 years ago. Georgia Tech.
They got demolished last year, but exactly. But I know the point. Georgia Tech.
I'm just trying to say. Tim, you know me, when you and Goolsby talked not too long ago, I was like, you guys are. I think people who are saying this is an easy schedule, like, I can go through this and just say they should go 11-1, but
okay. And my point is someone who does not want to see 9-3, and I wish it does not happen. If that happens, it's going to rain hell.
I know.
So we can
I
sit here,
know.
but once again, so we sit here, we're excited for the season. Every Notre Dame fan is hyped up. We can't wait to get going. Let's hurry up and get to College Station. But no, you're right. If there are hiccups, then the obvious answer is what? Things need to change. They're not going to change after year 3. It's not going to happen. But what takes place? What do you cover? Recruiting. Those things will start to.
Yeah, my point is that there are losable games on this schedule. Jay Patterson saying schedule is easy for sure. Green Man saying this is the easiest schedule I've seen in a long time.
Yes.
Listen, when Notre Dame schedules Marshall, they're supposed to win that game, and they don't. Shit happens. You guys need to get this through your head that shit happens, and Notre Dame sometimes loses games. So I'm just saying, like, when you go through this schedule, there are several games on there where you're like, man, like if they're not clicking, dude, they can lose. It's not like they're playing a Mountain West schedule and they're Boise State.
So, but that's the thing. If they lose, do they have the right leadership? No. How do you have the right leadership if you go into this schedule and you go 9-3? Seriously, that's just being brutally honest. I mean, so yes,
dude, if they go 9-3, Tim, we'll have a lot to talk about next
exactly.
spring.
But Notre Dame can. Are they going to have a 5-7 1999 Bob Davie year 3? No. If that happens, holy moly! But the odds of that happening are not. But it is easy. A&M's obviously a toughie, but then you don't leave you don't leave your home state for 6 weeks. Your road trip is Purdue. You have multiple buys set up in here, 2 academies, 2 max schedules. You get nice rest before you have to play the next big game, on and on. It ends in the Coliseum. Believe me, the Coliseum's a house of horrors for Notre Dame historically. Notre Dame could be 11-0 and lose that game. It's happened 1,000 times in Notre Dame history.
I'm on the 10-2 right now. I haven't made an official prediction yet. Right now, I think 10-2. Someone just said our quarterback has 1 foot. Jay Carson, our quarterback. I mean, dude, it's a whole new freaking offense.
But that's why you're paying people millions of dollars to make it happen. That's why you went and got the transfer quarterback, the wide receivers. You got a top 10 tight end room. The end of the season is going to have a top 10 running back room with those guys that are on that football team. Mike, if they go 10-2, they're going to the Outback Bowl.
You said earlier in the show you thought they'd make the playoffs. Or did you say
not at 10-2? Not at 10-2.
Not at 10. I think they could. It depends on a lot of factors. You know, how are the losses? Who are the other 10-2 teams? Things of that nature.
And I'll jump into here. That's a great point. Moving forward, the committee's going to give. I mean, they're going to give special double bonus points, to a 9-3 SEC team just because of the schedule they play, just because of that conference now. Notre Dame sitting at only 8 Power 4. We'll call them Power 4 games now. Only 8 of those when other teams are playing 9. Michigan's playing 10. There's some teams out there playing 11 this year. So if you got a team that's playing 10, 11 Power 5 games and they go 9-3, Notre Dame's 10-2 with 8, dude, that committee's going to have a hard decision. But if they're 10-2, they're going to be the 11 seed and they're going to go play the second place team in the SEC. So go have fun playing Georgia and Texas.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to get.
Yeah.
Enjoy that.
Could you imagine like a 9-3 Alabama team and a 10-2 Notre Dame team? That's what the committee decides between, and they go with Alabama. You know what I've said, Tim, for the longest time, that a 10-2, if you go 10-2 and you're Notre Dame, you can't be upset if you don't get in.
I totally agree, but that's the thing. So if you lose 2 games, they're going to be to an A&M, FSU, let's say. So who's your win? 8-4 Louisville, 8-4 USC. You don't have any wins, and that's what's going to kill Notre Dame in the committee. With this schedule and the way it's set up, the experience they have, dude, you got to go 11-1, man. You have to.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be bad.
$10 super chat from Wicked Bronco Production. He says, if you were a good head coach, you should go 11-1 at the very least with this schedule. We lost to Marshall because we had a lacrosse player quarterback, and M and FSC are the only scary games on schedule. I would definitely throw USC on there.
SC is still a mess, man. It's like, but that's game 12. That's a rivalry game. I mean, SC played Notre Dame toe-to-toe in 12 and 18 when they were undefeated.
Yeah,
and they
still
played their
USC
butts
on the
off
road.
against them. It's tough. It just is historically. But those are the two biggies when you pure talent, athleticism, A&M and FSU. But yeah, if they lose those two games, the committee's going to be like, how the hell are you a playoff team when you beat Georgia Tech and a couple MAC schools?
Yeah.
It's tough.
I think so much of the key word is should.
Yeah.
These things should happen, but they don't always happen.
Yeah, unless the SEC and Big Ten, everyone's 8-4 or 9-3, and they don't have a lot of 10-2 teams. You know, that's the next thing. So we'll see this thing play out. But like Patterson just posted, include Louisville, dude. If going back to Mike's point, the Singer's point, if Louisville beats Notre Dame 2 years in a row, Jeff Brom, can we get him on the horn, please? I mean, Era did that to Notre Dame for 4 straight years at Northwestern when he beat Notre Dame 4 years in a row, and look how that worked out. So it's these are gonna be some fun talks, man. No matter what, it's funny. There's an old saying, you know, all the new coaches when they got hired, they all talk to Era Parsegian, and they always ask, Era, what's your advice at Notre Dame? He's all, win game 1. He's all, yeah, that's the only thing that matters. So win game 1. Game 1.
My whole pushback on everyone right now is everyone just saying it's easy schedule. I'm like, guys, like these things can happen. I'm not like saying that Notre Dame doesn't have an easy schedule compared to the past few years. I'm not like I'm not disagreeing with that, right? I think it is an easier schedule, but just this notion that everything is sunshine and rainbows right now at Notre Dame, that they're just going to go 12-0 and, you know, Notre Dame's going to be, you know, just, I guess they can't have a number 1 seed, but I'm just like, guys, like I'm trying to bring you down to reality for your own damn good. So,
hey, you know what, Mike, and I agree with you with that, but at the same time, the expectations, Marcus is in his 3rd year, really his 4th year. He was the D coordinator the year before. These are a lot of dudes now he's starting to recruit outside of Mills, Cross, and the Fuse transfers. A lot of his guys are playing. And if he goes to the Outback Bowl this year at 10-2, enjoy.
Yeah, I know.
Enjoy. You know, you know, they're not going to fire him. They're not going to do any of that. It's, you know, we keep saying playoffs are bust. The bust becomes, you know, you're on the damn hot seat now moving forward, meaning you better produce in year 4.
Yeah.
And then it all goes back to recruiting and what starts to roll with that down the road.
Wicked Bronco Production, another $10, says, I think Georgia Tech is the Duke trap game of this season. USC without Caleb Williams is still no defense, doesn't scare me. They'll be beat up by the Big Ten. Crazy when we have 2 true road games. Yeah, it's a good point, and it's Purdue and USC.
No, 3.
No, 3. Purdue,
A&M, Purdue,
unless he's not counting Purdue.
Yeah, but Georgia Tech's at the NFL stadium. And the 2 academies are in NFL stadiums.
Yep.
But it goes back. I totally agree. Georgia Tech could be Duke. Georgia Tech can be Marshall or Stanford in 2022. Totally agree with that. But if it happens, what's happening in the coaching offices over these 3 years to allow that to happen in year 3? That is going to be a massive question. And if it happens, once again, you're going to the freaking Sun Bowl. So start buying your tickets.
So it's Will Howard's the new USC quarterback, right? It's not Miller Moss, right?
It's Miller Moss. Howard's at Ohio State.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So Miller Moss is the guy
Miller
at USC. I was thinking Will Howard. He's good, dude. He's a good quarterback.
Miller Moss is a really good quarterback. Really good quarterback. Yeah.
So
SC's always going to be about defense. I can't even talk about SC, man. It's so far away. And
all right, let's not.
The hatred that they have. SC plays up in the Coliseum. No, dude, I mean, I know I said this months ago, just real quick. So if SC is somehow ranked, the last time Notre Dame beat a ranked USC team in the Coliseum was 1992. a long freaking time ago. So yeah, it is not easy to win in the Coliseum.
Yeah. Folks, are you a displaced corporate executive? Are you wanting to put your career in your own hands? Or are you an experienced entrepreneur wanting to diversify? Well, Andy Ludicky can help you out. He's a huge college sports fan and franchise veteran, having owned multiple franchises and businesses. Using Andy's expertise, he's going to help you find your American dream through a very thorough consultation and evaluation process. So give Andy a call and put your life and career in your own hands. And best of all, his services are 100% free to use. So what do you have to lose? Find your perfect franchise at myperfectfranchise.net. Give Andy a call at 404-973-9901, myperfectfranchise.net. Wicked Bronco Productions, another super chat says, according to ESPN's post-spring top 25, we only play 3 ranked teams, A&M at 25, Louisville 21, FSU 15. The Louisville game will be circled by the guys like SC was last year, giving Notre Dame a blowout against Louisville. I love the confidence. I do. So USC is not a top 25 team?
And I looked at 4 or 5. SC was ranked in only 2 of them. Louisville was a handful. A&M was, I think, 3 out of 5. FSU in every one. But yeah, I'll go with them because Freeman is, he beat Clemson. Obviously, he beat SC last year. SC was a big revenge game, so it's at home. I mean, Notre Dame is.
Yeah.
Since Stanford, they played solid at home, played their butts off against Ohio State. It's like they'll be up for the Louisville game.
Yeah, it just why I'm leaning 10-2 right now, Tim, is my gut, and I've been covering Notre Dame since 2019. I mean, I've always followed Notre Dame, but I die hard into it since 2019 season. That's how long I've been on the beat. They seem to lose one game that's like a toss up, or like a game you should lose. You go at Michigan, okay, yeah, that's a tough place to win a football game. You go to Georgia, you go to USC, those kind of games, and then there's always one that you shouldn't lose. Like, or seems to be one you shouldn't lose. That's kind of where I'm thinking 10-2. And I get it. This is year 3. They shouldn't be doing that anymore. I'm just saying that's why I'm kind of leaning 10-2 right now. So
I feel you. Heck, I mean, if someone said 9-3, I'd be like, yeah, you're probably right, because there's going to be something like that. But it goes back to the whole point. If there is one of those, if there is a Mike Singer hiccup, it's not going to be good for the guy that wants to get that second contract, and those things will start to take effect in the recruiting realm and other things and coaches. Things start to happen.
If Riley Leonard in this offense is just clicking, like if Bo Collins is as good as I hear he is, and they could easily go undefeated with the schedule for sure. Like there's no brainer. This is a brutal game.
Well, there's going to be a nail biter. It always happens, like you're saying. There's going to be something. There's going to be a what the hell type of game. Those always happen every single year. But just don't do it this year.
All right, let's we're gonna switch to talking some recruiting the rest of the show, Tim. I didn't talk about this last week, and I said I was gonna cover it in my Friday show if my memory recalls, but that bad memory of mine pops up. Unless it's talking about recruiting class from 8 years ago or something, I can dive into that. But if it's something that is actually meaningful, I can never remember things. But we're going to talk about Dallas Golden in my trip to see him now. I think it was just last week, or maybe it was the week before. I was at his high school and got to see him practice. And I am going to pull up the footage in just a moment. But Tim, my thought when I saw this kid was, and it was their first day of full pads, and they were doing a bunch of Oklahoma drills, which I was kind of shocked to see in 2024. But they did not have Dallas Golden doing those, understandably. I think he did 1 or 2, and I was like walking over and fumbling my my video camera, and I didn't get it. But yeah, they did it for another 45 minutes. I was like, why the heck am I here? It's so hot outside, and he's not doing anything. But then he ended up going through some routes on air and some some defensive, light defensive work. A lot of the guys at Berkeley Prep are playing different sports, so it wasn't a big group at practice. But Tim, when you watch him, why is this? I'm trying to mute this for me. Okay, he like athletically, so freaking smooth. Just at receiver, dude, I think corner might be like his fourth best position in my opinion. Just talking about him as a high school football athlete, he looks so good as a wide receiver. We know he's a really good running back. Love him at safety. But Tim, just him snagging balls at receiver, like he looks fantastic, right? So this is Dallas Golden, Notre Dame commit, most recent pledge for the Irish in the 2025 class. What do you think when you're watching this little tape that I shot a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, I mean, we could sit and watch this for an hour. I don't care. He's my favorite player, that's been committed so far. He's top player. I told you he would be the guy put on the cover of the Recruit magazine. I know Deuce and things of that nature, but I love this kid as a football player. He literally, just like you said, he could play like 8 positions. Gain a few pounds, go play Viper. I don't care. It's like he is electric, hell of an athlete. Get the ball in his hands, whether it's a pick, a fumble, or he's running it or getting a pass reception off of bubble screen. He is a dynamic player, man. It's still one of those things like, holy crap, Notre Dame really got this guy, right? It's like, I told you the story when they offered him. They offered him like 4 years ago, it feels like, when they started recruiting Keeley. And I remember watching one of his films. I'm like, my God. It's like, he's going to Alabama. You start looking at his offers, and this guy, it's a big recruiting win. That's why I say he's a cover guy, because just not that Deuce Knight's a massive win, getting a kid out of SEC country in Mississippi, for crying out loud.
Yeah. So
great football player, man. He is a headliner without a doubt for this 25 class.
So the footage that you're seeing here for folks watching on YouTube was some routes on air, and then it was like a defensive, I don't know, what conditioning, where they're like lined up in positions, but it's really conditioning. And then at the end there, he got some like over the shoulder catching work in with his quarterback, and I filmed a couple of them because I wanted to kind of note that it was pretty cool that he got some after practice work in. So he's a baller, Tim. And so this could be it, Tim. That shot right there.
There you go.
You like that?
Yes. It's your leprechaun photo. It's the Fisher and the Snead photo that you did. No, it's great.
I took both of those, man. This one looks.
So I told you he would be he's a headliner. He's definitely a top 3 headliner. When this class is all said and done. Yeah,
I mean the headline of the magazine writes itself, like some kind of golden pun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does write itself. But I just wanted to go through that real quick, because I've not shown that on our YouTube channel yet. Just little clips of Dallas Golden. I will be writing my article from my interview with him. Nothing too crazy, but you'll be able to find that at blueandgold.com on Thursday. Again, this is Dallas Golden, Notre Dame commit from Berkeley Prep in Tampa.
Yeah, and just a 12-second close on him is just show his offers, Mike, to everybody. I mean, everybody offered this guy. Everybody in the top 25. It's like, and for Notre Dame, it's a huge win, man. It really is. And credit to the whole entire staff for just selling, South Bend, Indiana to this young man. So, I mean, they got a hell of a football player, man.
Yeah, Notre Dame, FSU, Clemson, Georgia, Miami, Ohio State, LSU, USC, Oregon, Alabama, A&M, Texas, Auburn, Michigan, and Penn State, Florida. Yeah, hell of a list. Yeah. All right, I got to sneeze real quick, Tim. Any other thoughts?
Go for it. Do a quick sneeze.
Wait, I don't do quick sneezes. Usually when I sneeze, I got about 7 more. But that we might have an anomaly. All right. Want to discuss, as we wind down the show, Tim, some linebacker recruiting. Madden Farimo locked in his official visit date with Notre Dame. I believe it's June 7th. He's also got officials with Texas, Washington, not USC because it's local, I think, And
No,
then
Michigan. It's
Ohio
Michigan, Ohio,
State.
and Michigan.
Michigan? No,
I
not for
didn't see.
Fremo.
I didn't see. Yeah, there you go.
I think it's these four: Notre Dame, Ohio State,
Oh,
Washington, and Texas.
there you go.
So, and then USC's in the mix, but I don't think he's going to use an official there, or he might do like a midweek one. So Notre Dame just seems like this is a nice development for Notre Dame, not unexpected, but yeah, I wanted to just kind of give you the floor to get your reaction on this one and how big of a win you think this would be if the Irish are able to land him.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be like getting, Kingston last year. You're getting a heck of a football player, and big time prospect out of the Trinity League. He was number 3 in the entire league in tackles last year. Kingston was number 1. He finished 3rd last year as a junior in that high power league. You watch some of these. You watch him run sideline to sideline. The pursuit he has. This is why I've always thought I would love to see him at Viper and just be a stand up, rush the quarterback, let this guy develop. I think he would just be a tear because half his film is in the box and then the other half is out there on the edge rushing. He's got long arms. I mean, he's like a Traore Kingston type of a combo type of athlete of wherever he's going to end up. So what a heck of a football player. Heck, outstanding burst to the ball. This would be another, I mean, it's massive. Notre Dame has struggled in the Trinity League. People laugh at me because I mention it so much, but these are Catholic powers with guys that will go to Notre Dame. You just got to recruit and put in the work, and Freeman and company have done that these last couple of years, and it really started with Tuli Alamaka out of Alamany. It's not in the Trinity League, but it's in the Sarah League, which is the second best league in California. So It started with him, and it's just working its way up, and now they're attacking the Trinity League like crazy. So what a heck of a football player. And to get him with Kingston back-to-back years, same type of athletes, guys that can play multiple positions in that front seven, would be awesome.
He looks long and lean.
Yes.
Yeah, he to me looks like he's got a future as a a money or whatever the heck they get. I don't even know what do you call, like, what is an outside linebacker in 2024? You do so many different things, but he looks like he has a future getting after the passer.
Yes.
Let's just say that.
He could play, I mean, literally, he could play Mike, Will, Viper. He could play those 3 main linebacker roles in the Notre Dame scheme. So, Snead's going to be a junior. Obviously, he'll have another year to go. He could be that type of hybrid rush guy when he comes to, South Bend and get his feet wet early on, playing, the nickel dime type of a rush guy. So he's electric, man. It's Notre Dame's obviously right in the running with all those other big-time heavyweights, so it's great.
Yeah, they are in the running, and I personally think that they lead for him. But, when you take 4 official visits and USC is not one of them and they're still in the mix, it's tough to feel too confident. But, yeah. Folks that talked on the Notre Dame side think that they're leading going into his officials. So,
yeah, in SC, he's been there a ton. I mean, it's a lot like Kingston. Kingston had like 15 visits to SC over a year period. He was there all the time. So he knew about him and all those things. Same thing with Matt in here. But, man, it was your guys' report on him during the spring when he visited was great. And you get a good feeling like, once again, Notre Dame could get into Southern California and get one of the elite of the elite players in the state to come to Notre Dame is awesome.
Well, Jay Patterson says, I want Notre Dame to get JOK's brother.
Jay Pat.
And that's who we're talking about next. And that is Nathaniel Owusu Boateng from IMG Academy, top 100 prospect. He also has a few official visits locked in. He's got, and he really shifted his schedule as well. Was this it?
Yeah, no, that's the updated one. That's the Michigan. I thought it was Madden, but it's Owusu's going to Michigan.
Okay, so yeah, there it is. So USC May 31st. That was right. That graphic was right. Yeah. USC May 31st, Notre Dame June 7th, Ohio State June 14th, and Michigan's June 21st.
Up above is the ones he dropped. Yeah. South Carolina, Georgia, Stanford.
Yeah, you don't see this too often.
No.
Where a recruit just says, I have these officials locked in, scrap, here's a new list. Yeah, I talked about this in a video I did with Darren Pritchett yesterday. I was talking to a source, and I was like, hey, trying to get a feel of Owusu Boateng's recruitment, like a pecking order, and it was like, your guess was as good as mine. That's the response I got. So Notre Dame's at least got a puncher's chance here, Tim. But let's pop on the film.
Yeah,
how fired up would you be about this one?
Yeah. Oh, fired up. He's ferocious. He is violent, point of the attack, unbelievable instincts. You watch the way he just runs and cuts off of blocks on his highlight film. He is a dynamic football player, man. He really is. He's he reminds me of like so many of the old school linebackers back in the 90s, Kenan Tatum and Anthony, he was a safety turn linebacker. Anthony Denman was a great running back, turn middle linebacker. He's got those same type of instincts. Those two guys just pop out when I watch the films, thinking of size, comparing him to old Notre Dame guys. But he's violent, man. He's just like his brother, aggressive as could be, has no fear. This is Mike Singer says every year there's always someone that surprises. This is my Mike Singer prediction here. I do. I think Notre Dame's going to get him. This is my hot take, whatever you say. I just have a feeling that the fact that he's in there, he visited, he keeps communicating with them. He rearranged visits to make sure Notre Dame gets one of those visits. He's talked about wait until signing day. Things change all the time, obviously, but he's that upset special that you get nationally. I think Notre Dame will win this in the end.
Yeah, Notre Dame, I think like Owusu Boateng is someone who they will have a spot for him no matter what. So yeah, if he takes it to signing day, they'll keep recruiting him.
Yeah.
I like to pick Tim.
Who
was the last?
Well, just real quick off of that, it's just when you hear him talk, and I read his the USC site. Scott Schrader does a great job at the USC on 3 site. I've known him forever. Just read some of his quotes and all that, but it's just like, for me, someone who's read a billion articles in 30, 40 years, whatever, I just think Notre Dame's going to get him. I do.
Okay.
And he said something about his brother. He's like, yeah, why can't we just make it a tradition at Notre Dame? And I was like, things like that, you just keep working on. I think Freeman and company will get this guy in the end.
Off the top of your head, who's the last player Notre Dame signed from IMG Academy?
Oh, it's got to be Houston Griffith, right? That's just my quick guess. 18. They had Tony. They had a run of a couple years.
Jones, Hainsey, Griffith.
And
Hainsey so we're talking
the guy. Yeah, Griffith was Chicago.
Yeah,
I think Jones was a Florida guy.
Jones is St. Pete. Yeah. Jones went to high school like 5 minutes from me when I was living in that area. Before he moved to IMG. But anyways, it's been several years. Notre Dame has not been landing. They've been working in IMG. I think remember Greg Crippen in the 2021 class?
Yes, the old line.
Committed to Notre Dame, and then kind of
went to Michigan, right?
Kind of got dropped, went to Michigan. I don't know how he's doing at Michigan. Someone can let me know. But Notre Dame in the at the end of the Brian Kelly era slowed down at IMG, and we've seen it tick back up under Marcus Freeman, but still they have not landed anyone. So it's tough.
That's one thing. I've always been like, Florida just drives me nuts when it comes to recruiting. It just does. Because Notre Dame has just spent so much time down there, but it does pay off. And it waned a lot during the Kelly years because he had a bunch of headaches and probably got tired of it. But one thing Freeman has done is he has put a lot of tentacles throughout Florida, and it's paying off in this 25 class. And I know you and Kyle, you guys, IMG is mentioned all the time, and when coaches are on the road and recruiting updates, they're recruiting a lot of guys. They must have 5-6 offers to guys. It feels like, maybe not that many, but feels like a handful, even going into 26, I'm sure. So those guys are putting in the legwork when it comes to IMG and Florida as a whole.
All right, Tim. Covered all of our topics.
I like it.
We're at an hour, sir.
I like it. I like it.
All right, well, we're going to sign off the show there. We will be back next Wednesday. I will not have a show this Friday. I'm off, taking a little weekend trip to Nashville with the fam. And busy. Tim, we are entering a busy stretch. It's kind of been slow the past few weeks since the spring game or the spring football concluded, but we got the On3 NIL Elite Series. I don't know what it's called. NIL orange shirt. Elite On3 Elite Series. It's going to be in Nashville, so I'm going to Nashville twice this month. So that'll be at the end of the month. Deuce Knight, Will Black, Jadon Blair will all be there. I'll spend some time with those guys. Will be really cool. We'll be reporting about that at blueandgold.com. I think I'm back from that. Then like 2 days later, I'm going to South Bend for the Irish Invasion Camp. We got official visits in June. It's going to be hectic. So gear up, strap in, strap on. It's going to be a busy time here at Blue and Gold. So subscribe to the YouTube channel. Of course, hit the thumbs up on this video. Go to blueandgold.com. Please check out the Blue and Gold Illustrated Football Preview magazine. It's pinned in the YouTube comments right now. It's also in the description of the YouTube video. I will pop it up on the screen if I can find it here in a second. You can like take a screenshot of the link, type that in a browser, and you could purchase our football preview magazine as well that way. So again, really appreciate you guys tuning in for this week's show. As always, we will catch you guys next time.